I just sold a 51-mile 2000 Plymouth Prowler on Bring It Trailer. With the car now delivered to a happy buyer, I'm going to take you through my recent experience in early 2025 of listing a car on Bring It Trailer. How to stay firm on your reserve price, how to prepare it, how to act during the auction, and my other observations. Stay tuned. If you're not familiar with my channel, my name is Rudy Samsel, and I am the co-founder of GuysWithRides.com, the only dealer-free marketplace and community for classic and collector car enthusiasts. If you're familiar with my website and my channel, you're probably asking, Rudy, why did you put a car on Bring It Trailer? Well, I first listed this car in July for my client, and it's a 51-mile 2000 Plymouth Prowler Woodward Edition. He is the original owner. He bought two at the same time when these were new, and he kept this one all these years while he drove the other one for a few of them. He's at a point now where he wants to pare down his collection, and so he was motivated to sell this car along with some others that I've been working on. Unfortunately, when I listed the car on my site in July, I struggled throughout 2024 with getting eyeballs on the site that will actually bid on these cars. So the bidding got up to about $9,000, if I recall, and just didn't go anywhere from that. Had a couple offers, lowball offers from dealers, quite frankly, that were looking to make a quick flip, but we weren't going to go down that route. Fast forward to Thanksgiving. My client was very motivated to sell a few more cars before the end of the year. So I said, I'm going to try Bring a Trailer. I was noticing that Bring a Trailer in the fall was offering a number of these cars and very low mileage examples, albeit in many cases, while they were low mileage, they weren't extremely low mileage like our example. So right after Thanksgiving, I spoke with the client. He agreed, go for it. And we agreed based on two cars that sold on Bring It Trailer in the past year. In the spirit of full transparency, I have an account called Guys with Rides on Bring It Trailer. And I figured, okay, if they're going to let me do this, I'm going to use that account. Candidly, I wasn't sure how far it would get, but it worked. I have other presentations where I talk about the 4 Ps of selling your car, and it's really the 4 Ps of marketing. It's product, place, promotion, and price. And whether you put your car on Bring It Trailer or no matter what venue you decide to sell it, you need to know what the car is worth, and you have to be very realistic about it. I'll put a link in the description on how to price your car. I'm not going to get into that in here. Following my own advice, since I was applying to Bring It Trailer, I wanted to base my reserve price on what had sold on there. And so if you're not familiar with the Woodward Edition Prowler, they made 153 of these cars. Ours was number 123. And Bring It Trailer in the past year had offered 2 others at auction, 2 other Woodward Editions. So very simplistic math. I took the average of those 2, which is 37. And my client agreed, let's go in with a firm $37,500 reserve price. Since I do photograph cars and video them, I did have some good pictures of this car, and that's what I based it on the submission. So I went ahead and spent about an hour on their submission form. This first step of the process, you don't have to, they just need a handful of pictures. So when I applied, I put in a $37,500 reserve price. To Bring a Trailer's credit, they got back to me the following day and said, we're interested in the car. Would you consider a $35,000 reserve price? I quickly replied, no, we're firm on the $37,500. And then I proceeded at that point to give them the 2 examples. Now that I knew they were interested in the car, I basically threw their own data back in their face. And in this example, it's pretty easy. If you have a very rare car or other examples, it may be more difficult to do this, but in our case, it was pretty cut and dry. The auction specialist came back and said, how would you consider 36? To which I replied, no, we're firm on the $37,500. At that point, he came back a couple hours later and said, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll honor the $37,500, but but it will be in our make whole policy. This is a little known policy on Bring a Trailer. And what they do with the make whole policy is the seller and Bring a Trailer agree to a reserve price. However, with the caveat that if it makes a threshold, Bring a Trailer will make up the difference. I wasn't even aware that they were doing this until I got involved with selling this car. Clearly, they're using this as a strategy to keep their sell-through rate up. You know, they're a big business. They got to keep the revenue coming in. My client and I agreed to that, and we moved forward. If Bring a Trailer tries to force you into a no reserve auction, walk away. Under no circumstances, particularly in this market in 2025, where values are kind of, you've got dealers out there looking for deals, and 40% of the cars on Bring a Trailer are dealer fed. And you can look at just looking at the usernames, it was clear to me some people were bidding on that Prowler to try and get a deal. You don't want to be stuck with a no reserve auction. So week 0, if you will, I submitted the Prowler on Wednesday, December 4th, and the following 2 days, Bring a Trailer and I went back and forth on negotiations over email. There's no phone, so we went back and forth on that. But it took 2 days, and by Friday the 6th, I believe, we had a plan together to list the car. And at that point, that's when they gave me their photo checklist, very similar to the one I use. Gave me some recommendations on how to film the car. Bring a Trailer will tell you, you do not have to have the car Concours ready, but you should have it vacuumed and washed. So in my case, I film cars professionally when needed. I do them for my listings when they're within 2 hours of my office. And so I know what to look for, what I would be looking for when I list a car. And so I knew the pictures to take. But I posted all of I think approximately 150 pictures, as well as the link to the video. Had that all posted for my auction writer for Bring a Trailer to start. So that was Tuesday the 10th of December. The following day, on the 11th, I was notified that an auction writer had been assigned. So we were now 1 week into the process. I would call that typical. Basically, the ball was in my court once we agreed on the reserve price to get all the photographs and video ready, and that took a few days to prepare the car. So December 11th, the auction writer starts. I don't hear anything until Tuesday the 17th, 1 week later, and the auction writer sends me a link for the draft, and once I approved it, the car would be put in the queue. Immediately reviewed it and turned it around that day. If you've known Bring a Trailer since they started this, the pros that Randy wrote in, it was almost romantic in a way in the early days of Bring a Trailer. It's not like that anymore. It's just the facts, ma'am. They're keeping their lawyers happy by avoiding anything that can be construed as making the car sound better than it is. So it's just strictly facts. They keep to those. And nothing more. And they avoid certain words now. One of them was original. The word original. I said the car has its original tires, and they refused to use that word in the description. All right, so they took the word original out. Fine, I'll take care of it when the car lists. So it's approved on December 17th. Now I know the listing's approved. I saw what it's going to look like. It's just a matter of waiting. Interestingly enough, every week, Bring a Trailer was offering a low-mileage Prowler throughout December. Very interesting. I thought ours would go up. They had 2 others queued up, and to their credit, they didn't put them all up at once. They staged them out to keep all the Prowler and buyers interested. That's the advantage of having all the eyeballs on the site. So Christmas came and went, and I believe it was on the 26th or 27th, I was alerted that the auction would start on Monday, December 30th. It was going to run from Monday, December 30th to January 6th. And so I thought that was a good time. Again, other than the New Year's holiday, a lot of eyeballs would probably be on this now that the holiday was gone and people had time to look on their computers. The auction starts, and right away, that first day, we had 7 bids that took it up to $21,000. On the 31st, New Year's Eve, 4 more bids came in and brought it up to $27,777. Not sure why somebody did that, but so be it. And then we subsequently went another 3 days with no new bids. Then Saturday the 4th, another 1 new bid came in at $28,057. Not sure the rationale for these. So finally, the bidding really got wild the last 3 hours. The auction was supposed to end on around 2 o'clock on Monday, January 6, 2025. The bidding started getting hot around 11 o'clock that day. And we ended up in total 17 bids that took the car from $28,057 up to the high bid of $36,250. So during that 7-day auction time, Bring a Trailer encourages the sellers to be active and answer questions quickly. If you don't answer questions quickly or you don't answer them at all, buyers quickly perceive, most of all, there's a perception you're hiding something. Candidly, what I don't like about Bring a Trailer, and many people don't, is the peanut gallery. A lot of people are allowed to comment on there, and the vast majority of people that comment on there, so-called experts, never bid on a car. Or if they bid early on to feel like they're part of the process. The real bidders don't come in until the last day for the most part. And that was the case in our car. So if you're going to be a seller and Bring a Trailer, you need to have a thick skin. And you may run the risk that somebody who's not even going to bid on the car is going to call your baby ugly. So just know that. You have to have thick skin. And you have to be nice, whether you like it or not. And if you're like me, that's a very hard thing to do sometimes. But that said, this is a 51-mile car. And other than a blemish above the door handle and a couple other minor things, the car speaks for itself. So not surprisingly, we got a rash of bids that first day. And when you looked at the bidders on Bring a Trailer, you can look at them and see how many times they've commented, how many times they've bid on cars, and what they've bought. And it was clear to me the early bidders, not surprisingly, this is true for my site as well as all the others, you get people that want to play the game. And that's where they know the car is going to go for a significant amount, so they can safely bid without meeting a reserve in the early stages of it. And that's what you saw here. And then you get comments like this. Don and Katie. He's got 19 likes. I hate to call a guy out, but he's commenting on cars that all have automatics. Hasn't bid on anything. And he said, this comment killed me, but I, bit my lip. I was all in until I saw it was an automatic. Beautiful car. It will go to a good home. I don't know what HNY means, but if anyone knows these cars, they were all automatics. So a comment like this is not adding value to the auction. Came away unscathed. Again, it's a 51-mile example, so there really wasn't a lot to poke holes at. I was forthright about I could anticipate some of the questions that would come up in the auction because I'm in this all day, every day, and I think that helped. So what did I learn? So the bidding ended with a high bid of $36,250. And lo and behold, the person that bid didn't bid until the last day. And come to find out, very nice gentleman has not and a friend of his told him about the car the day the auction was ending. And so he had been looking for one of these and literally got in the last hour, I think, and realized he wanted the car and got into the bidding and brought it up to where the auction was supposed to end around 2:13, I think, on January 6th. And that's when this 2-minute rule kicked in with all these bids you see here. It's not something I do on my website. I follow eBay's rules where the auction ends at the time specified. And you can use proxy bidding. You don't have to do one bid at a time. It's automated proxy bidding. You put the maximum you want it bid in, and the system does it for you. A little less sexy until the last minute, but this is painful to watch as a seller because the clock resets. Somebody puts a bid in the last 2 minutes, and the clock resets for another 2. And this went on, in our case, for about a half an hour. Painful. And I don't get the thrill of it, of sitting, looking at your computer screen and putting one bid at a time. But to each their own. When we hit the 35,000 sweet spot a little bit earlier, a few minutes earlier than that, that meant the car was going to sell. It's just a question of whether Bring a Trailer was going to have to cough up the difference or not. And so the car ended up at $36,250. So the buyer owed us the $36,250. And once the deal was transacted to both our satisfaction and the buyer's, Bring a Trailer would cut us a check for the difference between the $37,500 and the $36,250. So when the auction ended on the 6th, we immediately started exchanging information. Bring a Trailer offers a service where, essentially an escrow service, where we submit the paperwork to a third party and the buyer submits the money to a third party. And that intermediary, there's a cost to that. They verify everything is good on both ends and then disperse the funds to us and disperses the paperwork to them. We talked to one another and we said no. In our case, we elected, neither one felt we needed to do that. The buyer sent us a cashier's check with the understanding we wouldn't let the car go, nor should you, until you know that money's deposited. He graciously FedExed that on the 7th. We deposited the money on the 8th. And once I had the cashier's check in hand, I went ahead and FedExed the paperwork to him. And he set up a truck. If you're buying a car on Bring a Trailer, you're going to be responsible for picking up the car, whether you show up and drive it away or bring your own trailer, or in most cases, the buyer set up a trucking company, and then they arrived at the building on Monday morning, the 13th, picked up the car, and the buyer texted me that Wednesday, the 15th, that he received the car and sent me a couple pictures in his collection. So that was my experience in early 2025 of selling a car on Bring a Trailer. From start to finish, the process took about 6 weeks. And when I say start, that's from the time I submitted the listing to the time the car was delivered to the client. That probably could have gotten compressed with the holidays a little bit, although with the amount of prowlers Bring a Trailer was offering, I think you're looking at 4 to 6 weeks in general on that site, and that's remained true for the last several years. Have you sold recently on Bring a Trailer, or do you have other questions? Please put them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. I hope you found this video entertaining. If you did, at a minimum, please press the like button. And if you've been watching my videos and haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe. The overwhelming majority of people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So that would tremendously help grow the channel and get the word out there that there is an alternative to Bring a Trailer in GuysWithRides. If you haven't checked out my website, GuysWithRides.com, and we're not just about auctions. I post a variety of entertaining and informative classic and collector car content 6 days a week on the website. I encourage you to check it out. If you need a photographer, I'll put a link in the description to my website on photography and how I cover that for automotive. So I thank you for watching. Get out there and drive, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching this video. Please press the like and subscribe button, comment below, and be sure to check out our other videos on this subject, as well as all the great content on our YouTube channel. If you have any questions, you can call me at the number listed below, or be sure to check out our main website, GuysWithRides.com.